Hello students, in today's class we are going to begin with another chapter, and in this class we are going to discuss the essay Tradition and Individual Talent, which is written by T.S. Eliot. T.S. Eliot's 1919 critical essay Tradition and Individual Talent was first published in the London literary magazine The Egoist. It was republished a year later alongside 19 of Eliot's other essays in the 1920 collection The Sacred Wood. Though Tradition and Individual Talent was composed early in Eliot's career, it remains one of his best known and most influential essays, having contributed heavily to the founding of New Criticism movement. New Criticism practices close reading and emphasizes the aesthetic and stylistic elements of poetry rather than the ideological or biographical ones. In Tradition and Individual Talent, Eliot advocates for the separation of art from artistic and argues that tradition has less to do with imitation and more to do with understanding and expanding upon his intellectual literary context in which one is writing. The essay is divided into three sections, with the first section outlining Eliot's definition of tradition, the second expanding upon the relationship between poetry and poet, and the third offering a brief conclusion. In part 1, Eliot articulates his concept of literary tradition. He argues that often what marks great poetry is the degree to which it is in conversation with the poetry of past. In his view, to be traditional is not to lack originality, but rather to possess an awareness of the whole of the literature of Europe. Innovation and creativity are important, but truly accomplished poets must understand how their own works relate to both the present and the past. Essentially, Eliot claims that the poetry does not exist in a vacuum and that the meaning of the poem is never defined solely by its contents. Instead of all art is in conversation with itself, with each new generation's contribution expanding and altering the ways in which the literary canon as a whole is understood. Thus, tradition is a constantly evolving construct, one which accomplished poets must give themselves over to, resulting in a continual self-sacrifice, a continual extinction of personality. In the second part, Eliot expands on his belief that the creation of poetry is an act of depersonalization. He argues that the mature poet does not write because he has more to say, but because his technique has made it possible for him to more finely articulate emotions. He explains this using an analogy from chemistry. Platinum is the presence of oxygen, and sulfur dioxide acts as the catalyst to the create sulfurous acid, but remains itself unchanged. The poet is akin to the platinum in this reaction. Through the reaction of art, new work is brought into being, but the poet is unchanged. Building on his concept, the poet as an impersonal medium, Eliot asserts that great art is not an expression of poet's personal emotion, but rather an act of aesthetic distillation. Instead of depicting novel or uniquely pointed emotions, the poet must instead collect ordinary feelings, phrases, and images and synthesizes them into a new compound. This new compound does not achieve greatness from the intensity of its components, but rather from the rigorous of the artistic process that the poet subjects them to. The end result shows transcend and more personal experiences of emotion and feelings. Thus, the poem arrives at the broader aesthetic sensibility that is self-containing yet converses with the work of past, present, and future. In part 3, he offers a short conclusion and advocates for shifting critical focuses away from poets and onto the poems themselves. Eliot reiterates his argument that the emotion of art is impersonal. In his view, the work of poet is not to convey their own sincere emotion, but rather to act as a medium through which the collective thoughts, feelings and emotions of the living mind of Europe are conveyed. I hope you have understood. Thank you.